Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here today, my name is Austin Wynn. I'm a current third-year medical student based out of Chicago, and I'm here to bring helpful advice, tips, and strategies to help you excel in your medical school career. Today, we're continuing our series on third-year rotations with one of the most infamous rotations and notoriously known to be the most difficult rotation, and that is the surgery rotation. So today, I'll be going over how to honor surgery and how to do your very best to get the highest scores in this rotation. My previous videos I discussed how to honor internal medicine and how to honor neurology. My current rotation is psychiatry, and I'll be making a video on that as soon as I finish this video on this rotation. So I hope you enjoy the video and stay tuned. So to honor surgery, there's going to be two components to it. There's the clerkship component and the shelf exam component. We're going to start with the clerkship component because this is the one where I feel like I can provide the most advice and tips. So I'm going to give you 3 tips to honoring your surgery rotation and how to excel when you're in the clinic, and then we'll talk about the shelf exam more at the end. If this is your first time watching my videos, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I make new videos anytime I can when I find a bit of free time, and my goal is to always help all of you, and I always answer all the comments below, so feel free to comment on this video or any other video. And if you've been following my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to do so. I know who you are. So my number 1 tip is to cut the crap. In surgery, a lot of people try to add fluff to their presentations, or they try to, bring things up and act like they know a lot of information. This is not internal medicine, it's not family medicine. It's not the time to show off how much you know, especially when rounds are as early as 5:30 or 6 in the morning and you're pre-rounding at 5 a.m. At this point, you really want to just minimize, be clear and concise with your presentations, and sometimes you don't want to just overstep and say things that are not really that important. As a medical student, especially in your 3rd year, a lot of times it's hard for you to sparse out what's actually important and what's not. But let me just tell you, a lot of what you'll read in H&P and what you'll get from the patient are not really important, and surgeons are not going to care about it. They have about 45 minutes to an hour to round an entire list of patients. That would take 4 hours on internal medicine, but you don't have that kind of time in surgery. The OR is going to start at 7:30, and you got to get down there. So my first piece of advice is, like I said, cut the crap and have a very clear and concise presentation that you'll present the same way every time. So the majority of patients you'll be following are going to be soap note style. They'll either be a post-operative day patient or a patient that you're consulted for and seeing if they might need a surgery. So always do it in soap note format and be really clear. Subjective, this is a 45-year-old male post-operative day 1 femoral bypass surgery, something like that. Objective, same way every time. Vital signs, physical exam, labs and imaging, and then assessment and plan. Come up with a clear differential, why you think one thing or another is the leading differential, the information you have, and then what you're going to do about it. If someone has, for instance, like chest tubes, is the plan to set the chest tubes to water seal today? You're going to continue to observe at a certain amount of suction. Determine exactly what you're going to do and then say it. It could be wrong, but just do your best and say it, and keep it clear and concise. Don't beat around the bush. I see students come on to the surgery service and they're saying things like about family history when it's not relevant, or social history when it's not relevant. All the things are great, and it's good that you ask the patient about that, but really, what the surgeons are caring about are pertinent labs, especially like hemoglobin, right? Is the patient bleeding? Looking at fluids like ins and outs. Is the patient eating? Is the patient pooping? Is the patient nauseous or vomiting? Do they have bowel movements, right? If they just had a GI procedure, you're gonna care if they've had passing of gas or bowel movements, right? Try to focus on the things that are most pertinent. So you'll start to see a bunch of similarities in the patients on the floors. And so any patient, like after, a bypass procedure or something, right? You're gonna see if they're nauseous or they're vomiting. You're gonna see what type of GI symptoms they have. Are they able to pass gas? Are they able to have bowel movements? Are they able to get up and urinate on their own? Are they able to void spontaneously? So you're trying to look at the key things that you'd be, looking for after a surgery. You should know these things. So for example, the patient I just mentioned, the hypothetical, after a gastric bypass or sleeve gastrectomy, the number one sign of an anastomotic leak after the surgery will be tachycardia. So when you monitor their vitals the next day, you want to take a look to see if they have tachycardia or not. That's the most important thing that the surgeons really care about. So be aware of those things and know exactly how to present clearly and concisely. My second tip for the surgery rotation is don't be an idiot. On any other rotation, would you ever walk into a patient's room without knowing anything about the patient, without looking at their chart or anything? I hope your answer is, of course not. And surgery is no different. But instead of going to a patient's room, a lot of times you're going into the operating room. And if you're going into the operating room, you don't know the patient, you don't know the indications for the surgery, and you don't know what surgery they're getting or what procedure is going on, then you're basically going in blind and shooting yourself in the foot. So you got to go in and actually know what they're doing. If they're doing a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, you should generally know the steps of the procedure, the indications, the patient, why they're getting the procedure, and some risks of what could go wrong, what to look for, and the benefits of the procedure, right? These are questions that the surgeon and especially the attendings are going to ask you during the procedure, and you should be expected to know these things. A couple of things I can say from my experience is that a lot of times the questions they might ask are going to be similar. So if you've been to multiple, lap choles, for example, make sure you know the answers if you didn't get it right the first time. And if you can be, prepared by watching a video or something the night before, you can kind of come in and already know what they're going to ask you. So when you're doing a lap chole, you're going to have to ligate two specific structures, the cystic duct and the cystic artery. So know those two things, and I guarantee you at some point someone will ask you that during a lap chole. You're welcome. That's your free first points from me. So when you're answering these questions in the OR, try to answer with confidence. I think surgeons have a sense for sniffing out weakness or lack of confidence in answers, and they will pry. They will ask you follow-up questions and really push your buttons until you basically say you don't know. You might call this like pimping, right? And everyone kind of does that, especially, I think surgeons are notorious for this type of thing because, they're very impatient. They're in the OR, they're trying to be efficient, and a lot of times they just want to get answers to their questions or basically just see if you know what you're talking about. And the more you can, show to the attendings and the residents that you know what's going on, the more they let you do and the more opportunity that you have to showcase your skills, and that will translate to a higher clerkship grade, in my opinion. Finally, my last piece of advice for the OR is, number one, be spatially aware. Number two, just know how to scrub. So when I talk about spatial awareness, what I mean by that is that if you're in a tight spot in the OR, just know when to move your arms and when to move aside, because a lot of times the surgeons and residents, they know what they're doing. They've done this procedure a number of times, and this might be your first time in the case. You don't know what the next steps are, you don't know what's going on, but don't have your hands in the way. Don't get in the way of where they're moving, especially if they have to move to a higher point. Be ready to turn your back, to rotate away from them, to maintain the sterile field, because they're just gonna move to the spot they need to go. It's your job to kind of know where you need to be, because you're, at the end of the day, there to learn and to not get in the way. So be spatially aware. They notice these things. Try your best. It's going to happen when you're doing laparoscopic cases and they let you hold the laparoscope, but try to move around and actually gauge where you're moving so that you can show the attending that you know the next part in the procedure. Try to avoid them grabbing your hand and moving it for you. It's bound to happen. Don't be discouraged, but try to minimize that from happening is my piece of advice. And finally, like I mentioned, just know how to scrub. I've seen so many students, and I've been victim to this myself early on in the rotation, but when you come in and you make a mistake scrubbing or you're not wearing eye protection, that's like one of the easiest way a surgeon can see that you don't know what you're doing, you're not prepared, they're not going to trust you. So you're going to be doing very little during the procedure and you've already made a bad impression. So know how to scrub. Literally practice it, visualize it the night before, and think about it, because there's so many little things that come into maintaining the sterile field and scrubbing that you can make mistakes easily and sort of start off on the wrong footing. So make sure you look into that and watch some videos on that as well. Let me know if you have questions on that. Finally, my last and third piece of advice for the clinical rotation is don't be a try-hard. What I mean by this is that don't always try to outshine your classmates or the residents, right? There are gonna be scenarios in the OR where you might know an answer, but the attending's asking the intern or the resident. As much as you wanna showcase how much you know, you better bite your tongue and not answer, because if you answer, I guarantee you, the attending probably won't really remember that you got it right, but you know who will remember? The resident that you showed up that didn't know the answer and you answered. And now that person's also evaluating you. You basically just looked like you were a gunner and you were trying to make the resident look bad. So definitely avoid that. Don't overdo it. Sometimes a good impression in surgery is a neutral impression, because if you try to do too much and try too hard, you can make a mistake, and that's gonna look a lot worse than if you just didn't do anything. So something I've noticed is that in the OR, 10 good things can move you up like this much in someone's opinion of you, but one bad thing can move you all the way down to the very bottom. So for instance, just do what you're asked in the OR, keep your hands to your side, hold retractors when asked of you. If you get a suture or cut something, do it, but don't try to do things that they're not asked of you. So if you try to be aggressive, right? Like maybe if you know the next step in procedure, like you know they're about to close and you want to get like the suture material, right? Like you can ask for the, suture tools and get it for the resident, but what if they're not suturing at that point, right? You just ask for something and now they're not on that step. That looks really bad. So like the amount of good it does to actually get it right will move you up like this much, when you can just not do anything and not risk moving down. So that's my final piece of advice. And I know a lot of things are a little bit broad, but it does apply to a lot of the rotation and a lot of the overarching themes of it. So I hope that can be helpful to all of you. Finally, I'm going to end this video by talking briefly about the shelf exam. I have my Dr. Pestana's surgery notes book here that I wish I read more of, but I mostly just skimmed that. My basic advice for the shelf exam, which is a difficult exam, one of the hardest ones, is to just optimize efficiency and make sure you study hard early on and throughout the rotation. You're learning so much when you're in the hospital, and surgery is one of the hardest rotations because there's so much material, so much studying that has to be done outside of the hospital, but very little time to do that studying because you're up at 4 a.m. because you have to get to the hospital by 5 a.m. every day, and you could be there super late. I was there as late as 8 p.m. one day and got there at 5 a.m. that same day, right? So completely brutal, a lot of studying to do and a lot of hours in the clinic. So start ahead and optimize your efficiency, and the best way to do that is to use spaced repetition with Anki and do a lot of practice questions with UWorld. So I highly recommend to start questions day one. See how many questions you have in UWorld, divide it by the number of days you have in the work week, and try to do that number of questions every day. It might seem hard to do, but it was only like 10 to 15 questions a day for me. Wasn't too bad if you split it up and do your flashcards. That keeps the information retained long term. If you have any questions about how to study or how to optimize your Anki, I've made many videos about this. I'll link it in the description above and below to the video. Finally, I would also recommend what I did was I used a D. Virgilio's Anki textbook. So this book is like a super helpful book in surgery, and there's a D. Virgilio's Anki deck, and I can link that in the description below. You can import that deck into your Anki and sort of slap spacebar through it a week before the exam, and I think that can help refresh your mind and get you ready for the shelf exam. So overall, those are my tips to getting an outstanding grade on your surgery rotation. I hope this is helpful to all of you. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and stay tuned for more clerkship related videos, vlogs, and just general advice within the field of medicine and healthcare. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great one.